We're starting off high.
We can get
I
a two fools agree on that one. Oh, by the way, look, we got the wide shot.
There was you had accountability. Now what I can
Now all you need is a podcast and a YouTube channel.
No, not even.
Where give me the money. Show me the money.
Apparently there's a Foolproof page.
Shoot the J. Shoot it. Live on Facebook.com/Foolproof Entertainment Network. I need you on Twitter. I need you to repost the Facebook pages.
To raise a human before I would
Trust a human to raise back wolves?
before I would trust a pack of humans to raise wolves.
Right. I hear you.
Listen, you got my
what's going on? What up, foes? Welcome to another edition of Two Fools Agree. As always, I am your host, Michael Reggie, and here with me is my main man, Clifford Jordan Jennings.
That'd be me.
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing. I'm moving. I'm trucking. I'm trucking along.
You doing this a little remote this week, yeah?
You know.
I hear you.
Got some little bastards on my hands.
You mean that little sweetheart of yours? Even though she was trying to choke your ass out before the show. Don't do that. I need him.
Got a couple little bastards over here driving me crazy.
I've tried running this show by myself before for about 10-15 minutes. It doesn't work well.
How's your week been?
It's been all right. It's been interesting. Wife and son were off of school this week, so they were home, which, you know, is nice on one hand and obnoxious on the other.
And your office is, while as beautiful as it is, it's not in the best place when it comes to people being home.
And traffic in and out of the house,
right.
And the dog barking every time they leave or come back. And
right up against the kitchen.
You know, so it was all right. I actually ended up taking Tuesday off and went to the zoo with them. So
okay.
That was cool. They got a new like exhibit section there. So
well, let me know next time y'all do that.
Yeah, definitely, man. I mean,
I'll step out with y'all.
We got memberships and all of that, so you know we get free guest passes and that kind of stuff, which is
okay.
nice.
Yeah, me and Karma definitely drop in on y'all. Me and Malk and them took the kids to the zoo.
Oh yeah,
that was a while ago though, wasn't it? That was before it got cold.
Oh, okay. But yeah, so they opened up, and I don't know if this was open when you went there. So they have a new exhibit, kind of like right when you walk in, Adventure Cove, that has like the sea lions and stingrays. I think
like it's like a fountain thing, like right in the middle. Yeah, it was there.
So they had the sea lions, they had the stingrays. The stingrays are actually cool because it's better than what they had down at the Newport Aquarium down in Cincinnati.
Oh, really? I think the stingray, I didn't see any sea lions. I don't remember.
Okay. They may not. They're just now, from what we heard, like, because Shar talks to fucking everybody. I love her, but... So she gets the full scoop from, like, every zoo member that she passes along the way. So it sounded like they were just now kind of letting them out. So they may not... The exhibit may have been done, but they may not have been out and about yet.
Right.
But yeah, so we did the stingray thing. Touched the stingrays, fed the stingrays. That was cool.
That's what's up.
Yeah, it was fun. And then
that's what's up.
And then we saw my main man in the sea lion tank was this old gray bearded sea lion that just laid on the seafloor and just looked tired.
On the ground, under the water.
Under the water, just laying there looking like
How long can they hold their breath?
I mean, long enough. He was under the whole time, so
he might have been trying to kill himself. Yeah, but y'all should go. We should go back and check on him.
And then there was so I had three that I related to and one that I looked up to. So the sea lion that laid on the sea floor was the one that I related to. There was a manatee that I guess they just got like a young pup a couple months ago that has kind of bonded with the biggest manatee in the tank, which is the manatee's name is Stubby. And I guess the little one had been orphaned, and so it's just kind of latched on to Stubby as a surrogate mom. And Stubby would like float around the tank because you know the manatees, they don't do shit.
Right.
And the little one would like swim away and then come back and just like rest on top of Stubby. I'm like, damn, I understand, Stubby.
Right.
And then the last one,
the load you ain't even dropped.
right? And then the last one were the silverback gorillas. That's where my new Facebook profile pic came from, where I'm pointing to the "Dad's the Boss" sign.
Right. Okay.
Those poor silverbacks, man. Those old male gorillas. They're the ones that have it the roughest because they're the ones that are feeling the most lost in the zoo.
I got mixed feelings about the zoo. I find it very depressing.
You know, Shar actually cried after we went to the silverback tanks because I think it was the silverback exhibit, because I think what she saw with the gorillas was because they're so close to us, like you can tell just like the depression on their faces.
Right.
And what I was looking at was like the moms and the kids seemed okay. It was the dads that looked just mad, like this sucks.
Because I mean, listen, it's almost the way life is now. You just can't be you. You know what I mean?
And that's the whole thing. Like silverback males, like their whole purpose is to protect the tribe, to protect the family, to like guide them to where they need to live. Like
I'm a
very
silverback.
much like human hunter-gatherers back in the day.
Yeah, I'm a silverback.
And you know, they have no purpose in the zoo. Like other than to like help rearing the children, and you can tell they just get annoyed with the kids. So cheers to the silverbacks.
Cheers to the silverbacks. Give me 1 minute. These little bastards knocking.
Oh, it's going to be a long one. So outside of the silverbacks, the last ones that we saw were I think were the bonobos. And it was fun when we got to see the bonobos because it was right around feeding time. So they let the bonobos kind of run wild and like, they just like dump. So basically the way the bonobo exhibit is split, there's one section and then a second section, and what they do is they dump all the food in the second section while they're playing in the first section, and then they open the gate and let them go.
Right.
And man, we saw some bonobos getting it on. This one is literally like chewing on a banana, and his girl comes over to him and just and I mean, it lasted like 4 seconds, but you knew what was up. And then there was another one about 5 minutes later. So they have the first family move from the main into the secondary to eat. And then they let these two come in to the primary and fed them separately. So I don't know what was going on there in terms of what the situation is, but it happened. And then like the dad, the male gorilla, like shoves his face, like literally his cheeks are puffed up with like romaine or some shit. And he literally just hops on her doggy and just goes 5 seconds, done, hops off. I'm like, cheers to the bonobos. They know what's up.
That's the ones that throw them fingers out, ain't it? That's the one. Them is the ones that's gang banging below the waist.
Right.
About that action.
I think we've had that talk before.
I remember that.
Allegedly.
I don't know. The history tell it.
So those were my inadvertent thoughts were all zoo related, and I felt empathy for the silverbacks and wanted to be the bonobo.
Yeah, that's some wild shit. I mean, like, ooh, that's different. Thought just popped into my mind.
Uh-oh. What you got?
So I would just think that that would be, of course, well, no, not so much, but a little bit to some, depending on, families or whatever the case may be, or if you're a straggler, a third wheel. But I look at it as prison, right? Like, that's prison.
The zoo?
Yeah, like that's prison for those animals. So then I think, well, what did they do wrong?
They got caught.
And that, you know what? And that's exactly that thought came to my mind exactly. So follow me now, because an animal's job is to be an animal. Right. And if you were getting close enough to something like this, then I feel like you were being a little friendly. You know what I mean? Like, that's not your animal instinct. You weren't doing what you were supposed to be doing.
All I'm thinking of is that Dave Chappelle skit when the white folks show up in Africa. He's like, oh, some white people on some boats. Let's go talk to them.
Exactly. You know what I mean? But not exactly.
I was kidding.
All right.
I was only kidding.
But I mean, I feel it right. You know what I mean? Like, why even approach that? That's not of this nature. That's not of this world. So for you to get close enough, you weren't thinking with your animal instincts. Now, is that the equivalent of us doing something wrong in human nature by law to get locked up?
I mean, so
because the consequence could have been worse. You know what I mean? It could have been death.
I mean,
could have been somebody that was going to pose with a picture next to your carcass.
Right.
Well, you know what I mean?
And the thing with the Columbus Zoo, at least based on like kind of, and they could be bullshitting us, but generally speaking, like a lot of their animals are either born and bred in captivity. Like the sea lions or whatever were actually part of a show in Shanghai, and they were basically talking about terminating them. And the Columbus Zoo was like, no, we'll take them basically. And then the other one was a lot of
what was that?
So the sea lions in particular were ones that they'd basically been part of a circus, and the circus was closed or shut down, and Columbus Zoo came in and swept them up. Like with the manatees and everything, those are all rescues. So their intent, they rehab, and like the Columbus Zoo is actually pretty solid in terms of I don't know what the percentage is, but a fair amount of the animals there are rehab. Like rescue and rehabilitation. I mean, obviously, probably not for some of the smaller animals or the reptiles or those kind of things. Like those are probably captured and bred in captivity.
Right.
But for the most part,
now I feel like bred in captivity, while still awful, you know what I mean?
But they've never known anything else, right?
Right. It's not as bad as just capturing one and putting it in a cage. Like that shit's wild to me. Like, yeah, I don't know, that shit's just wild. But what I don't understand about the zoo is the damn tiger exhibit, the lion exhibit.
Dude, speaking of not the tigers or lions, but it was a leopard. A-Reg was right up on the glass. And this leopard thought A-Reg was a snack, because it literally ran from one side of the enclosure up to the glass and pounced on the glass.
Right.
It scared the shit out of it.
I bet.
I'm like, it's coming for you.
Listen, that's animals. They do that with kids. You know what I mean? I'll never see them do that with adults. Like, they really size you up. Like, I don't know about that one. I'm sure I can take it, but it's gonna be harder.
There was a bonobo that went there was a bonobo female that ran and slapped the glass at Shar too.
Now that's different.
Which was also funny. I'm like,
does
she think you're moving in on her man?
Right. She saw the way you was looking at it when she was bouncing on his lap. Like, you want some of this?
You want some? That's why she went over and jumped on him. That's what it was. He can thank us for his little afternoon delight.
Right.
Because lady got jealous and was like, nope, this is my man.
I know that's right. Handle your business.
I wish my wife would do that to me.
That's called wingmanning. You stupid. Yeah, I caught that one. No need for playback.
No playback on that one?
I caught that one.
I was only kidding.
He wasn't. He meant that. And you better take care of him.
My man.
Bonobos. But any inadvertence this week? Because mine's deep, and I feel like it's gonna kick us into the whole conversation.
I mean, the zoo stuff was like the main inadvertence because that was my like getting away from the office and all that kind of shit. There was something that I came across, and this one's a little bit more somber of a note.
Get it out.
Basically came across an article about Vincent Jackson, wide receiver.
No, I don't know. I don't know about that.
Is it Vincent Jackson? Yeah, Vincent Jackson, either a receiver or corner in the NFL, was found dead back in February, and
I don't know about that.
Basically, he committed suicide. And it got me thinking a little bit about...
God bless his family.
Absolutely. But it got me thinking about a time when, you know, a guy that I brought up on this podcast before, a guy I worked with on the trucks, called me in a kind of a similar situation and basically ready to pull the trigger.
Right.
And it just got me thinking about that. And so that was a little bit just off-putting. But at the same time, it reminded me, like, but you were there for him. And so, like, I literally heard him loading his gun. And I left my house and went to his house at like 1 o'clock in the morning and sat there with him and literally just talked to him.
Yeah, you gotta do
that.
Kind of
talked him off the ledge and all that. And you know, you and I have talked about firearms in the past, and my cousin actually said something similar over the weekend, which I thought was funny. It was Sam, but she basically said, like, the reason she doesn't really have an interest in guns is because she's had suicidal thoughts.
Right.
And if she would have had that kind of easy access, who knows what would have happened.
Yeah, no, I get that. I mean, I definitely get that. And, you know, on a I don't know, like, yeah, I definitely get that in a weird way.
Yeah.
I understand what she's saying. You know what I mean? Well, I understand what people would think like that, how you could think like that.
Yeah. And I will tell you, but full transparency, like, I've been in those dark places, and I haven't been for a long time. Like, I was probably in my early to mid 20s, just kind of feeling lost after college and all that, like typical, you know, angsty fucking
right.
Shit. But like, having been in that position, it's kind of my same reason. So that's where, you know, you and I have had that talk kind of offline before. But anyways, that wasn't really the point of the inadvertent thought. The inadvertent thought was just more about the male ego, I think, keeps us from reaching out when we're in those levels of pain and those level of dire straits. And, you know,
it depends on who it is, though.
True.
It depends on who it is, because I guarantee you that you would have done that to somebody you didn't know too if the opportunity arose.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that's something that you don't take lightly. You know what I mean? And if you hear somebody in distress like that, whether it be family or a stranger, that shit means something.
No, I agree with that. I mean? And you hear all the time about, you know, people walking up to people who are getting ready to jump off of bridges and basically talking them down. And sometimes that's all people are looking for, man. And especially with everything that's going on. And Jeff's talked about this a little bit on his podcast, like people just feeling overwhelmed and that kind of shit. But
you know what?
When you talk about, and you say this almost every episode,
right?
Be kind to people, like love everyone. Like
it doesn't cost you nothing.
No.
Ali said that it don't cost nothing to be kind.
No. And so I just wanted to kind of bring that kind of full circle back to that message that if you see, whether you know the person or not, if you see somebody who's struggling, drop them a kind word. And sometimes that's all it takes to snap someone out of those kind of feelings. And sometimes it's not. Sometimes you can't. Sometimes nothing you say is going to matter to that person. And all you can know is the fact that you said something, that you offered the hand, and that yeah. So
that's it. But I feel like in a weird way that stems to my inadvertent.
Well, let's hear it then. Or unless you got something else you want to talk about first.
No, let's jump into this, and we may have something else to talk about after.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So now follow me here, right? Had this
Who's the more
conversation.
foolish, the fool or the fool who follows him?
You know what? Right. I forgot about Chewie. That's my favorite part of that. I forgot about Chewie.
Don't forget about
that. Was
Chewie now.
that was Chewbacca for fuck it, I'm following.
Fuck it, let's do it.
Right. Okay, so listen, I'm gonna tell you. Well, I don't know how to set it up. Let's just jump into it.
That's a very shiny shirt you got on, by the way. I like that.
Do you?
The Foolproof with the 614s all over it. I like it.
Yeah, and I did it in the gold too. This was just something to play around with, and I needed something to match my shoes for the day.
Oh, okay.
So
all right.
press that and see how that. And the listen, and for everybody, the 614s was the marketing scheme. So people be like, "Oh, where'd you get that from?"
Right.
And I'd be like, "Oh, I make that." Okay, well, can you?
So if you'd like a shirt, hit us up at foolproofentertainment@gmail.com. I don't know what he's selling them for, but
well, that would depend. So hit us up at 150 or whatever that is .com.
Foolproofentertainment@gmail.com. We'll put you in touch with Cliff, and he'll let you know.
Listen. But we'll be up full running to be able to do everything soon here in a second. But where were we at before? Oh, you said the shirt. What I was saying was, so I had a situation. This was probably a couple weeks ago. And I was sitting here in this very room, and I was working on the other side of this stage curtain. And I don't know what it was. I was doing something and it had to have brought me back, or something happened. All I can say is I smelled hot chocolate.
Okay.
Like it was very vivid, like a very clear, like, oh, that's hot chocolate. No, nothing in the room that would make me have that smell come around, right? But I think what happened was whatever I was doing at that moment brought me back to a place that reminded me of hot chocolate. And the smell came, it was distinct, like hot chocolate, the smell. And it made me think, like, okay, some people have photographic memories, but could that work with all five senses?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because we store information, right? So if something comes up, it's almost funny. Like I've been in situations where there's been females that I like, and I don't know why I say females so much. It's because I don't know what to say anymore. It's like, you know what I mean? Just male, female. You know what I mean? But I've had situations where there's been girls or ladies or whatever you want to call it that I like. And when I first met them, I was like standing next to a dumpster or something off-putting.
Okay.
And I've associated that smell with them for the rest of, you know what I mean?
That's
whatever.
Not great.
Like,
that's not great.
But I know it isn't, because it's like that's the weird shit that is fucked up situation is for me. Because I'm like, no, because that smell was around when last time, you know what I mean? And I know it's not you.
That's the whole Colt 45 song. Good morning, ladies.
What Colt 45 song is that? Oh,
you know what I'm talking about.
I do know.
He's walking through this fish market, right?
Mm-hmm. You talking about Afro Man? But it's to the point that anytime you would say that person's name, that smell would come back into my nose. It could, just because I associated it and I stored that shit in my brain and kept it. And now, so listen. Now, this is where I'm getting at, right? Cause did you see that video I sent you earlier today?
I did. Well, I listened to it. I don't know that I actually watched.
You didn't watch all. Well, see, there was some.
But I listened to all of it. Like I understand the visuals and I understood the concept. Like, and I could picture it the whole time. Like the neurons firing look like the way the universe is spread out.
Listen,
and the same thing.
And
with
everything looked exactly the same. Like it wasn't even like it was exactly. It almost looked like that picture. Have you ever seen that picture where the guy has his hand out like this, and it's a leaf laying on it, and the leaf has the same pattern,
the same lines
as his hand.
Yeah.
It was just like that. Like so, it made me think because I think of my brain as a file cabinet.
Yeah.
Just the way we explained that situation that I was just talking about with smells and shit, it sounded like a file cabinet, right? Like, but see, here's the thing, because I was having this conversation with Blue, and I'm not going to give you the context of the conversation. It would make more sense if I did, but I said thinking of your mind as a file cabinet couldn't be the best thing.
No.
Especially after you see a video like that,
because, which is showing how active it is at all times and how it's basically creating relationship diagrams. Like thinking of it like a filing cabinet is a mistake, but think about it as like a computer database where you can have
that you have too.
You see, but here's the thing: having done like database design, I actually think that when you think about it, it makes a lot of sense because
I'm sure
you have a single record. This single record has basically tabs for each kind of component of that memory. The thing is that you can have like memories that have like related tabs.
Trees.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a relationship diagram.
So you're explaining it the way and not to get fuck it. You're explaining it in a nerdier way than I explained it to Blue, right? Because what I was saying was a file cabinet can always be locked.
Right.
In most file cabinets, if you remember from back in the day, if you shut it, it automatically locks.
Or you at least had something that kept you from pulling it open. Exactly.
But it clicks. So if you don't have that and it locks, because that's my problem is, and you know how cerebral I am. I'm always in my mind.
Yeah.
And my issue is I try to open the places that I can't really open. And you know, sometimes when you're like walking through your mind and I envision it in my head, it's like me walking through a hotel hallway and I'm trying to open each door. Now, each door was open at one point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it was open and I put something in each door.
Right.
I just can't get to it.
You can't open it back up. That's the whole recall. Like people who, even if they're intelligent, which it doesn't necessarily mean that they have the best recall. Like you could have people that are not smart and aren't able to intelligence. When I think about it, is the ability to
retain information.
It's not even it's the critical thinking associated with retaining information. Like I've met people who are great critical thinkers in terms of they can connect dots in ways that other people can't. But if you ask them to repeat it, they can't do that. Because they struggle with the recall. Like the neurons are firing in all the right directions.
I think that's kind of me.
That's kind of what I was getting
at. Yeah, I think it's not like, because let's be honest, like I honestly think of myself from everything that I've done with making music and all that. I think of myself as a linguist.
Yeah.
Like I have a way with words, even in conversation, that I can pull, do whatever I want. But when it comes to explaining what's in my head, it all becomes jumbled. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like almost like a nervous dude in front of a girl. Like
basically the neurons are getting to the right place. They're just not unlocking the door.
Right. So here's my thing. Right.
Okay.
So this is getting in, because that's only a half of my inadvertent. Right. And I feel like I'm hoping that this will extend the conversation. So with me thinking of my mind as a file cabinet, of course, I know that's wrong. But thinking of it in terms of that visual from the video being that there are highways that connect everything to that file cabinet, meaning I can get to that file cabinet in different ways other than just trying to pull the handle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's different connections to that file cabinet I can get into that I'm not recognizing because of the way I'm thinking right now.
And that's the way I go. That's why I go to the nerdy path and thinking of a database. Like,
right.
I know that this string appears here, but it also appears in 5,000 other places.
Now listen. Let me tell you something. And this may relate the two of us, because when you got to the third, because remember, the first was the universe, the second was the brain, the third was the internet, and they were saying that eventually the internet may pick up the speed.
Internet is starting to look like a neural network or whatever.
Right,
yeah.
But they say our mind is 100,000 miles per hour faster than the internet, right? And I understood that, right, because of the connections of the universe. Now, I thought about the internet's brain as a circuit board. You know what I mean?
Okay.
You know, a circuit board, may all connect to that same box, but they have to go through paths to get there. You feel what I'm saying? They go through different like Tetris mazes. So that explains to me why it would be a little slower than the mind if we're just firing like a universe in a wormhole.
Okay.
You feel what I'm saying?
No, I got you.
But until we get to the point of being able to accept the neurons or whatever that fire in that wormhole fast enough to download that information, we're stuck in that file cabinet.
Yeah.
Or at least I'm stuck in that file cabinet. You feel what I'm saying? So then I got deeper and I thought to myself, well, if it's that deep of a connection, if you, and this is a question for you, if you had to give a percentage of humanity's knowledge of the universe, like how much of the universe have we discovered and know about, as opposed to how much we don't, and give a similar comparison to the brain, would those numbers be the same? Would they be close in comparison?
So do you mean like our knowledge of the universe versus our knowledge of like the human
brain? How
the
brain works, right?
So what I would say is I think we have such an infinitesimal number understanding of the universe. Like I think we know a lot.
I would imagine we know more about the brain than the universe, but I still think that we're just thinking of the surface of the brain, not the inner.
I agree with that. So if you remember the book that we talked about, what was it? The 2020s, the most disruptive decade in history in terms of the futurist. The statement that neurologists have made like every decade for like the last 3 or 4 has been, we have learned more about the human brain in the last decade than we have the rest of time combined. And when I say that, I mean, they've been able to make that statement for 3 or 4 decades in a row now. So that's where, I think I feel like we are probably about 10 to 20% of the way in understanding the human brain, compared to like probably 0.00001% of the universe.
That's a great. I think I would have to agree, sir. I think that was a great way to put it. I think I agree with you 100%. But so here's my thought now, right? So the fact that these things are so similar is no coincidence, right?
So what I would say is what's more interesting to me is the way that the human brain maps to kind of the layout of the universe, less so the human brain to like the internet. And the reason for that is whether consciously
wait. I'm sorry. Repeat that. Repeat the start.
So what's more interesting to me is how the human brain kind of maps to the universe. So the universe to brain equation.
Right.
More so than the brain to the internet equation. Because if you think about it, of course, the internet is going to be structured in a way that we think the way we operate, right? Because it was created by us. And it's been designed in such a way that man has influenced it. So, of course, man's influence, whether subconscious or conscious, has morphed the way that it thinks. And so let me take that just a step further. So in that futurist book, what they talk about is that's been such a limiter to the internet and to artificial intelligence, is trying to get it to think like us, when really there are probably completely different ways of thinking that technology would be able to adapt to quicker, which quicker in technology and intelligence scares people.
Right.
But that's where you start getting into like quantum computing and those kind of things, where can you match basically the brain power? Can you match basically human intelligence through a technological solution?
Oh, I'm sure you can, but I feel like
well, right now the right now the level of computers required to do that doesn't exist.
Right, and that's what they were saying. That's what when I said the 100,000 miles per hour. It's that they said that the fastest supercomputer that they have currently still can't process. Our brains process 100,000 miles per hour faster than the computer. But the thing is that we are brainwashed by society to think the opposite. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I feel like that's that file cabinet thinking of not knowing that they're saying that they I can't remember, it was a separate article, because like I said, I told you before, I wanted to look into like weird shit about the brain. Yeah. They said that the brain growth over the past couple years has been crazy, like times, I don't know what the number was over before. And that has to be linked to something. You know what I mean? Like, why now?
Are you talking about like the average human brain, or what are you talking about there? Like,
just like the I wish I had the article.
Is it like our ability to process information?
Right, like it's like that's growing faster than any other.
But that to an extent,
and it's not like to evolution, because it's just taken place over this past. So
right, and evolution would take generations. Yeah,
right.
What I find interesting in that regard is it's the same thing. Like, I kind of think about like education in Star Trek. Like in Star Trek,
and I don't know about that. So explain.
No. So, but like calculus is like a second grade class or a first grade class in Star Trek.
Right.
And it's the exposure to information. Like, it's not that humans haven't been capable of this, it's that they've never had the access to this.
It's like when they say if you don't baby talk your kid, then by the time they're 2 and 3, they're speaking and reading. They can even read and make out words on a page
And I will testify to that, because my mother-in-law has talked to Andrew since he was in Char's stomach. And the kid won't shut the fuck up.
Right. Listen, that's how karma was, man. And I did. We started out. Well, I ain't gonna say we, because I never got with that goo gaga shit.
No, and we never have in our family either. But our son has also been very articulate since the time he was like 1.5.
Listen, I'm trying to say something, and it has to be directly related to something.
No, and I think that's exactly what it is. I think it's the exposure to information. Deeper. Because let me just chime in with this Let me chime in with this last piece on this talk. Yeah. But they also say that if you can expose kids to multiple languages between under the age of 3, they're going to have a better understanding of language their entire life, because you absorb so much more than people think you do in those first like 3 to 5 years. Right. Once you start getting into like middle school, high school, when the chemical imbalances are starting, and like you're really starting to become who you're going to be as a person, minus any environmental factors, like there's not a lot of moldability at that point. Like, you are who you are, like, basically by the time you're like 8 or 9. Like, if you're an asshole when you're 8 or 9, chances are you're gonna be an asshole your whole life.
Listen, I just can't wait till bro gets out, because
we gotta have him on.
Right, and I don't want to repeat the conversations that we had, even though I know he wouldn't give a fuck.
No.
But I don't want to misquote
like what his interpretation said.
Right, you know what I mean? And because the conversations are very interesting, but even beyond that, where I was getting was, and this is now follow me. Follow me here. So if the brain is a representation of the universe on a small scale, and we know that there are, active things flowing throughout the brain, then how do we know that we're not on the molecule of the brain of a higher power? You know what I mean?
I think that's an interesting concept, but I think it makes sense.
Because then, this is why only thing I'm gonna say is then this is how you know the higher power would want you to succeed, because you are a part of them.
Right.
They're trying to figure you out. Well, not, you know what I mean? They know you because you are of them, but they're trying to figure out those shots.
Are we basically the cells within a higher power?
Exactly.
Is that what I can see
exactly. That. You know what I mean? Because if the brain is a representation of the universe on a smaller scale and we have all of this going on in our heads, then how do we know that that is not the brain that we're in currently? You know what I mean?
No, I completely
operating.
get what you mean. No, I think that's a fair comment to make. I think what gets interesting at that point is do you think of the universe as a living organism that is started with?
I definitely do.
I don't disagree, and I think that's what makes things interesting is when you realize that we're all connected in that way. Humanity starts to seem real infinitesimal at that point. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter at that point in terms of what humanity is or how humanity interacts with one another, how it operates, etc. So I think when you get into those kind of viewpoints, like, one, I don't know that if that is the case, if we would ever understand it. That's a very kind of agnostic view of the world, because at that point, you know, I would take the viewpoint of an agnostic that would say you aren't ever truly able to understand that higher power. Because if you're part of its being, you can't necessarily understand how you're a part of the larger creature, the larger being. So...
No, I didn't hear all of it, but I definitely
I covered for you the whole time though, so
I filled it in from what you said afterwards.
So we did get something in the chat from our buddy Luke, and his
my guy.
His comment came in, I think, when I said, you know, you are, for the most part, you are going to be the same person you are from I would call like a structural integrity perspective.
Right.
At 10 as you're going to be for the rest of your life.
Right.
He chimed in with that's a fixed mindset. And what I would say on that front is either you've learned how to learn by that point, in which case you are trapped in a fixed mindset, or you've learned how to adapt, in which case you are in more of a growth set. So I hear what he's saying in that regard, and I don't disagree. Like, I'm not saying it's impossible for someone to change who they are, but there has to be a willingness and an ability to do that. Not all people are equipped that way.
Well, see, I think you said it. And it's not that I don't disagree, but I think you said it where you said the structure.
Right.
The structure is always going to be the same. However, you can always break down walls on the inside and redesign that model that you started with. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, you see that all the time. People renovate houses, pimp my ride. That's what they do. They change
the bones are still the
structure.
Same,
though. Right, the structure is the same.
You can paint a turd, it's still a turd.
Well, that's your molecules. You know what I mean?
Right.
You better hope that reincarnation doesn't exist, or you may not be in a brain. You may be in a pile of shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it could be a lot deeper than what we interpret things to be. And I guess the whole thought process behind my inadvertent thought was, and this isn't to cut off the conversation, but head is an awful slang term for fellatio.
What?
I feel like
how is this related? You got to walk me through this one.
I feel like it should be more like a lobotomy than head or brain. You know what I mean? Like, you're not providing to my intelligence. You're taking away.
Well, you're feeding the id.
You know what I mean? Like, like, what are you supposed to be putting in, not taking out? You know what I mean?
Well, they're putting it in their head. That's why.
Cabinets and galaxies.
Oh, man.
Never thought of it like that. Yeah, never thought of it like that.
Oh, goodness gracious.
But
what are you thinking? I mean, so what I can like, what I'm thinking through here is a little bit of the book in terms of like what they said or what he said about the age of intelligence, which is supposedly the age that like comes after the shift age that we're in now. It's kind of that next step in the basically societal evolution. And what he talks about is the age of intelligence will result in 1, a complete mapping and full understanding of how the brain works. 2, the use of this knowledge to enhance brain functionality and brain health, which kind of gets to our earlier points of the conversation around like how much of the human brain do we really understand at this point.
Right.
Leverage of this knowledge to create new forms of medical treatments that are brain-centric. So finally understanding what mental health is, like, and helping actually help being
Alzheimer's
able to do something.
And OCD and shit like that.
Implantation of chips for memory and the treatment of chronic diseases. External inputs for treatment of chronic conditions, and interaction with technological intelligence to create new levels of computational power and speed. So basically the blending of, by understanding human intelligence, it opens the door to hybrid human technology intelligence.
Right. Yeah, we talked about that before we read that book. I'm just not for that. That's just not something I'm for.
But to your point, like in where I find it interesting, at least from the way I look at it, is if you're not using your brain power to do like what I would call simple math, meaning not necessarily A plus B equals C, but like even like complex computational math. Like if you don't have to use your brain power to do some of those simpler activities, does that unlock your ability to access higher functions?
I think so. I just think that it's up to us.
You just don't want to see that be a technology thing that enables that.
I mean, I feel like everybody else can.
Right.
You know what I mean? If that's what you so choose to do, that's fine. But I don't want to do that. I would gamble my brain against yours with the chip. You feel what I'm saying?
Okay.
Now you may have more information and all that, but that just means that I have to step my game up.
Yeah.
And I feel like that goes back to, I know we may not have talked about it so much on this podcast, but I know we do on Hit the Showers, where the track meet, you only run as fast as the person you're running against.
Yep.
I feel like the people that choose certain people that actually exercise the mind and, try to dig deeper, those people have no choice but to run faster at that point. It almost becomes a John Henry battling
I hear you on the John Henry reference. It's Deus Ex. You ever played those games?
Yeah, I watched you. I know. Yeah,
Human Revolution. It's basically like people who have accepted technological bionic enhancements versus normal people, like people that haven't accepted those kind of enhancements, and it does get scary at that point because you start thinking about like master race scenarios, right? Like where it's once you start adding technology to the equation, this whole haves and have-nots gets a lot deeper. Like right now, it is purely a human construct of financial wealth versus like financial poor. But when you start getting into augmenting human themselves with technology.
Well, it's going to be white folks first.
Oh,
you know that.
Shit. Well, it might be the Chinese.
You might be right.
Which is diet white? Is that what we settled on?
No, I thought we said white Max.
White Max.
I thought we said Bud White Platinum.
Bud White Platinum. That's right.
Listen, I'm just saying. I don't know. But regardless, I mean, listen, everybody's different. You know what I mean? But a fear of death has never been a fear of mine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't care what the plans are, be it master race or whatever the case may be. I honestly don't even care if my shit's slow. I don't care if I go slow. You only go once.
Right.
Under this understanding. You know what I mean? I may have gone 12 times before, and that may be why I'm so comfortable with going. But you know what I mean? But
this might be the longest Cliff has ever lasted, getting to 34.
Real talk. That's real talk. And you know of a couple instances that could have taken me out a lot sooner.
I know.
That, so
this could be your longest life yet if you believe in reincarnation.
And you know what? That might be why I just get so frustrated with stupidity and the way shit goes.
Just dumb shit.
It's nonsensical. We're at a nonsensical point in life right now, and I feel like the people that are gonna pull out, whether chipped or not, are the people that actually use their heads and voices of reason.
Yeah.
Because that's not happening right now. Nobody's doing that. Everybody's jumping on the bandwagon of popularity, and that just doesn't, it just doesn't match. Because like you said, you talking about a master race. Well, Instagram could strike that.
True.
You know what I mean? Just a group of people that think the exact same, that get into power, that think that we all should think that way too. Is that we're not? I don't think we're far off from that either.
Right. In terms.
So what's
yeah.
So what's going to come first, the chip or Instagram? You know what I mean? Like, or the people that are. Listen, it's. I listened to a podcast today. I want to say it was King and the Sting. It's normally Brendan Schaub and Theo Von, but today they had Chris Stefano on it, and he said something very interesting. He said, "I think that we're already in World War III." He said, "I just think nobody's noticing it because it's happening online first." You know what I mean? He said,
"That's that whole idea." And again, it's funny. We've come back to this book a couple times. That's that whole idea of the physical reality versus the digital reality.
Right.
And the next age is going to where you start to see those things come together. And I think we saw that a little bit with the insurrection at the Capitol, right? Like that was a blending of digital reality, meaning everything that QAnon has taught and preached through online channels bleeding into physical reality and them actually taking an attack like that.
Right.
And so I agree with you. I don't think we're
sense.
I mean, we are kind of in that boat already. And you know, if you believe believe Moscow and Russia and China and
that's what
North
I was
Korea
about to say
are the reason for a lot of that, you're absolutely right. Like if they're the ones feeding those disinformation campaigns that are taking people to make real action now.
Right.
You're right. We are in World War III. It's just we're not calling it that.
Is that, and I've said it before, and I think this is another deja vu situation, because the way I was raised was not just to jump into the pool with the rest of y'all. You know what I mean? And when of course, when I say y'all, I don't mean you, but that wasn't right. That wasn't my style to just be like, oh, so they think that's cool. I guess I'm with that. You know what I mean? Like I've almost been pushed to the opposite.
It's the whole
y'all don't like this, I'm gonna keep doing it then.
It's the whole, if your friends jump off a bridge, would you jump too? Like
how much do I love my friends? What friends did it?
And meanwhile, I'm sitting there like, well, let me see what happens to them first, and then I'll think about it.
I'm the kind of guy that who did it? Plunk. Shit. I know it. I don't have to know the outcome. I know the outcome. You feel what I'm saying? But the bottom line is, my guy, you gotta fall to know what you stand for.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? You gotta fall before you know what you stand for. You can't just go about shit. And a lot of these people don't stand.
No.
You feel what I'm saying? When you ride with that big group, that popularity vote, that I think he should be out of there, because then it's a situation where y'all all leaning on each other.
Well,
you feel what I'm saying?
And I agree with that. And what's interesting is,
that's dominoes.
It is. And what's interesting is it's funny we're having this topic of conversation in this way, but with the events in Atlanta this week.
Right.
With the 8, I think, Asian folks that were killed at the massage parlors or whatever. Like, we had the conversation with A-Reg this week about, you know, you have to be willing to stand up and do the right thing, period.
Right.
And that's the lesson that we taught coming out of that, because I don't remember how it came up or if it actually came up, but we did have like a sit down conversation with him. Like, if someone is picking on or, you know, starting something with somebody just because they're different, that's not okay.
Listen,
so we had a lot of that conversation.
Well, we know you and Shar.
Yeah.
Well, we know you. We don't know Shar. I'm just playing. But I know
Shar,
that.
You know what I actually appreciate with Shar?
I'm just playing.
And I know you're playing, but I want to speak about this specifically, because what I would say about Shar is she did not grow up the way I did. I grew up with you. I grew up with you. Like, you know that my entire life I was the only white dude that I was friends with up until probably middle school or high school.
Right.
Like, all of my friends were
you got the Saint what's the name?
Right, till I got to St. Charles, basically.
Yeah.
And even then, like, the 6 black kids there and I were friends. But
I'm sure. That I'm sure of.
But
I bet you knew everybody black there.
That's actually why I respect my wife's journey on all this. Is that's not how she grew up. She grew up in all white neighborhoods with all white friends. And so the fact that she has done basically work to understand like where her implicit bias lays there, like that's a big deal. Like,
listen,
I didn't have to go through all that because I grew up with y'all. Like, I saw it firsthand. It's a lot easier to get when you see it firsthand. Like, I've been pulled over 5 times in my life. 6 times. 5 of those 6, I had a black dude in the car with me. Coincidence? I think not.
It ain't. But you know what? But that's also why if we're going now we're about to lighten up the topic here because we're about to get there. We're about to get there. But that's also why you move accordingly. You know what I mean? Well, at least in the African American community, you move accordingly.
Yeah.
You move accordingly because you know the way the design is set up. You feel what I'm saying? It's almost like...
Well, if you know the game's rigged, you have to learn how to play the rigged game, not the real game.
So let me tell you something. I'm about to bring it all the way around for you. It's almost like we have to operate on a circuit board instead of the galaxy. We can't just shoot our neurons straight to the target that we want. We have to bypass the things around us and make people think I don't want this and go away from it to come back to it. Otherwise, they'll stop you dead in your tracks and say, nah, this ain't for you.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? So you got to operate that circuit board. And we should be charging for this is what I'm but that's the reason why you understand a little bit more than someone who hasn't come across it.
Right.
Because you've seen people who don't want to operate on that circuit board. And then you see people going out of their way to try to get something that should be a straight line.
Path where they have to go.
And then you see me that's like, fuck that circuit board, but I might hop back on it just to get some benefits.
Right.
You know, I need insurance. I'm not going to get insurance from nothing I'm doing on the street or myself.
Well, and I think it comes back to a little bit of what we've obviously had that conversation 1,000 times now on this show about not wanting to play the game, but understanding that there are instances where you almost have to. And...
Yeah, but that's not necessarily playing the game. That's just showing listen, you have to, in order to play the game, people have to know you have cards in your hand.
Yeah. So
it's
learning how to exploit the game to your benefit.
Exactly.
When you know, especially when you know it's rigged to begin with.
Listen, I can show cards in my hand, right? And I may hold them like this, but I may have a Sharpie in my mouth. Like, look, drawing hearts. What's a card? All right, take that. You feel what I'm saying? And that's the name of the game. Let's be honest. That's the name of the game. You can't follow the law if the law wasn't set up for you.
Right.
Now, I'm not asking nobody to do nobody else wrong, but you can operate in your own space without abiding by something wasn't meant for you
in the beginning.
And that's the issue that I see with what's going on here currently is a lot of people feel like they can win if they just keep playing the game.
Well, and to that point, I think that's where you will see. That's actually where you will see, and I think you're starting to see it already. And
flip the board.
Biden is only 2 months, 3 months into his term, and progressives have already flipped on him.
Listen, fuck Biden. I'm gonna tell you why.
And we agreed on that. We all agreed on that. But what I'm saying is,
I'm being selfish in this point. I had no problem getting a goddamn stimulus check when Trump was in office. That motherfucker even sent me a check after I cashed it with his name on the motherfucker. But as soon as Biden get in office, I'm looking at the IRS like, unavailable. You're not eligible. Check back later. What the fuck is going on?
Well, I know a lot of people have gotten theirs already, so I'm sorry that you haven't, but...
Listen, god damn.
Well, and what was the first one? The first one was what?
Was 12.
12? All right, so this one's
first
more.
One was 12. Right.
This one's more than anyone that's been passed before it.
Right.
So when you get it, you can thank Biden.
Listen. I don't know, man. I heard.
I mean, he's still putting kids in cages, though, so, whatever.
Listen, that is the name of the game. Didn't I tell you? It's just a different warden to the prison.
But I don't disagree with you on that. And I think what I think the current situation is showing is that reality that, if they don't pass stuff like the Voting Rights or whatever it is, it's like For the People Act. If they don't pass that, if they don't pass the Green Jobs Act, if they don't pass... There's half a dozen bills that are out there right now. If they don't pass those, you're going to see Dems and liberals flip just the same way Republicans have flipped on basically being anti-government, etc. The whole Antifa thing will become a reality just the way QAnon has become a reality.
My Reeds, I know you don't get squat. You got that bread. You better stop it. Better fucking
I don't get shit either, Mom.
Listen, both y'all better stop it. Cause I'm under.
She's retired now, though. She should get something.
Listen, motherfucker, I ain't even making 40. You hear what I'm saying? And I'm more than a few bands off of it.
So, 40. Okay, I'm thinking through what a raised minimum wage would do for someone like you.
I wouldn't do nothing for me.
I understand you're not. I understand you're. I understand that you're probably making more than.
I'm at 17 an hour.
Okay, but theoretically, what it should do is, if you know that you can go make 15 an hour for doing less work, it should raise your wage. Is the theory there, right. And that's what they've said.
That's what's happening with Corona, and now instead of jobs giving you an actual job, they're doing temp to hire. Just to make sure you're the type of employee that they want before they give you.
Yeah,
but what I mean?
But the move to contract to hire has been around for a long time, and it depends on the industry or whatever. Personally, I don't know that I would hire on my team in contract to hire, although it has.
I don't even accept contract to hire jobs.
Well, and again, I think that you're fully within your right not to do that.
That's listen, why would I don't care if I only make $17 an hour. But
honestly, what I would say is that if you're in a position where your resume looks shady for one reason or another, that's a reason to do contract to hire.
Resume,
no, but I'm not saying yours does. I'm just saying that would be a reason to be in a contract to hire position. Is that if there are gaps in your resume or something that are going to make people maybe not. If they feel like they can basically do a trial run with you. And for me, I would do contract to hire in a second because I am that egotistical about how good I am at the work that I do.
Well, see,
you're not going to want to get rid of me, and by the time we're done with this contract, you're going to be paying me what you were paying for the contract, which is usually not the way it works, because usually a contract resource, and I will tell you, at least on
they pay more.
Technical jobs, those kind of things. It's
more.
$120 an hour.
Right.
So guess
they
what?
Pay more.
If you hire me on, you gonna pay me at least 80% of that versus paying me whatever my going rate is.
What they do
today.
is they try to say that we got to balance it out with benefits and PTO.
And I get that.
So
and I get that. And guess what? Fuck you.
75.
I'm on my wife's shit. My wife works for a school district. We already get benefits. Thank you.
Well,
fuck you, pay me.
Once again, privilege wins.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
You're
not wrong. It's fine.
I'm not.
I think we've already said that I've at least acknowledged that I'm privileged. Doesn't mean I'm gonna stop being privileged.
Listen, and I told you how many episodes in a row. If you don't take that goddamn privilege, that is a slap in the face.
Right. To all the people that can't have it.
The fuck? You better.
I would hate for that to be the case.
And pass it down every time you get a chance to. But you better fucking take it, you son of a bitch.
Game.
Blouses. And I know I listen for everybody out there. We all know each other. I hope I don't have to explain myself for the son of a bitch. That meant nothing but to him. But I know how people are nowadays.
Cancel him now.
You know what I mean? Well, you can't cancel somebody with nothing. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, you'd be much happier with me with a job than me without.
That's true.
Because I know a little bit doing podcasts. I can find an IP address. And if I don't have a job, I have time.
Oh no,
Cliff
will be broadcasting fucking 10 hours a day.
Listen, I'm just saying, they got little Xbox apps that give you IP addresses that pop your address right on up. You better watch it. And this, listen, my daughter now is obsessed with Karen videos.
Oh, is she?
Obsessed with them. I have watched
so many like just white women bitching about stuff. Does she feel like, I don't know, does it remind her of anybody?
Yes. Yes, because I made the joke. I made a joke to her.
Oh no. Obviously we're not gonna say who that is.
I'm gonna say it because I don't give a fuck. I said, your mama's a Karen. Just playing with her. And she said, she may be, but she's not a bigger Karen as mama. And I almost pissed myself because I know Michelle and I know her mom. Wouldn't categorize either as, but I could see why she would say that. And then she goes even further and says she even has the Karen haircut. She got the bob with the bangs, but she don't really wear bangs like that. But I said, all right, baby. Okay. I'm sorry.
Oh shit.
Listen, but that's what we've been doing all day is making t-shirts. I've been getting her hip. She makes her own t-shirts now.
Ooh, all right.
Dynasty shit, baby. We ain't trying to do this. Listen, we need make your own money.
So she
find ways to make your own cash.
Anything yet?
Matter of fact.
Uh-oh.
Now I know these are our designs.
Oh, or is this bootleg something else then? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, but
so these are not for sale for anybody watching this video.
They're not. This
is craft at home projects, father-daughter projects. These aren't for sale.
Have you ever noticed that?
You can email Karma at.
I can get you yours. I got Bill. I gotta get you yours. I got a black shirt with the Bills logo on it, and all that.
Oh, nice.
But I can't put Buffalo because that's licensed. You know what I mean? Yeah. But if I just put the Bills logo,
you just have the Bills logo,
that could be the
generic,
Columbus Bills.
Right? It could be
what I mean?
It could be the Buffalo Bulls.
Right? You don't know what that. That's why I do it that way. Her shit. She wanted to, do some more. Oh shit.
I mean, let her sell it to her friends at least.
That's what I said. Or at least let your friends know I made this.
Right.
Then you can charge your friends.
Right, no doubt.
And I'll give you the profit. You know what I mean? You get the profit on that.
It's like the airbrush shirts we used to have back in the day.
You get the profit. You still got to pay for the equipment.
You still got to pay for materials, equipment,
right.
labor.
But you get all the profit. So you'll make 20 a shirt if you do it right.
If she sells it for the right price.
Shit, she can sell it at 25 and still pay for equipment depending on how much you got on the shirt. You can't just be telling people I do a full frontal shirt.
No, Cliff doesn't do full frontal for anything less than 30.
You better catch me on OnlyFans. Catch me on OnlyFans for the full frontal.
Correction. I had sex with Kate.
Listen. Correction. Mike set me up on OnlyFans.
And you can find Cliff at onlyfans.com/Clifford J. Jennings.
It'll be linked. Oh, it probably won't be linked to YouTube.
Have you checked the description of this video?
I might do an OnlyFans just to see what pop on some bullshit. Just cause, why not? All avenues, all angles.
I mean, you gotta do what you
neurons, not file cabinets. You gotta fire and
databases, not file cabinets.
All that.
Oh man.
All that. Hey, did you see? I know we. Did you see? Oh, I ain't gonna tell you on here. Well, why not? Cause we on it. I think I found the color you were looking for.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, remember you said you wished that we could get. Now this color is a lot more expensive, but I think it's the exact color.
Well, I will tell you that he gave us a custom hex color, so I don't know if there's anything standard that you're gonna find, but
so I'm gonna, in order to do that, then what I would have to do is start ordering directly from a source.
Yeah, directly from a manufacturer.
Which
or whatever.
Isn't bad though, because the direct source, I looked into that, they charge by the yard instead of the foot.
Instead of the sheet, basically.
So I could damn near get the, per
it wouldn't
yard.
Be that different then, yeah.
Exactly, for the
buying
same
in
price.
bulk at that point.
Exactly.
I hear you.
It would be a higher price, but I'd be getting it for cheaper than I'm getting it now.
Basically, your price.
And I'm fine with that.
Your price per foot would probably not be astronomically different.
Right.
You just have
but
more
the price
of it.
is
exactly.
But yeah, I'm not against that, but I think I found it exactly.
All right. Well, we'll take a look.
But the issue is that it's a little neon-y.
Okay.
So I won't get into it, but it's a little neon-y, and that's the issue that's causing me to not be able to match it exactly.
No, and I hear you on that. And it works well in the digital space, especially because it's on a black background in most instances.
Right.
So.
Well, it doesn't matter because once I get the rest of the equipment that I plan on getting, I can do anything. Like I could do a full picture.
Right.
Like I could print our picture right now on a shirt if that's what we wanted. But I just, haven't gotten it yet. The motherfuckers Biden's fucking me on that. Did you see his old ass tripping up the steps to Air Force One?
No, but...
had the nerve to turn around and give the salute. I mean, you better get them fucking knees up there.
How is that any different than Trump falling down the ramp?
Listen, I don't even know if Biden has knees. He may have.
I mean, he's fucking 90 years old. What the fuck do you want from him?
They replaced them motherfuckers with what was they called? Hexa, you know what I'm saying? That you built shit with the they replaced.
Are you talking about connector? Or what is it?
I don't know what it was called. You know what I'm saying? They had.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
They were like advanced Legos that you had nuts and screws with. That's what his knees is, motherfucker. An
erector set.
God damn, Biden. And he turned around and saluted. I'm glad he got the salute off. I thought he was gonna get it from his knee. From a knee like Colin. And then everybody had been like, hire him back.
I've got some thoughts for the show tomorrow, by the way. So
listen,
there's been a ton of signings and shit that I can't wait to talk about tomorrow.
I feel like it's gonna be a big one.
Yeah.
I'm hoping for anybody that cross
pollinates, checks out
right.
both shows.
I'm hoping that my guy gets on because the boxing announcements that have been going on.
Oh, see, I was even just talking NFL.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what it's so much NFL going on that we could do a full show on that
just
alone.
Just the NFL, yeah.
But the boxing announcements they've made.
All right. Well, here's what we're going to have to do. After the show, shoot those over to me just so I can educate myself a little bit.
Right. They, Tyson Fury and the Deontay Wilder, the two fights that happened. Now it's Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury, the dude with all the belts. This is, man, listen.
It's getting crazy.
And now Anthony Joshua is supposed to be working with Floyd Mayweather, a heavyweight working with. It's gonna be. Listen,
right.
This is an unprecedented time in boxing world right now.
And so for that and more, check out Hit the Showers, presented by the Foolproof Entertainment Network.
Yeah, because we won't talk it here.
Although for those that only listen to this show and don't listen to Hit the Showers,
right.
I've got one for you.
I know.
Oh yeah, poo, fucking Baylor, fuck you, and fuck me, and fuck everybody. That is fucking bullshit.
Is that how you feel?
That's how I feel about the Raiders.
Listen, well, Mike supports the manatees and all that shit in the zoo. He supports animal kids in cages.
Come after me.
I'm a man.
I'm 40. I'm not a kid.
I'm not a kid. What's the best part about that sound clip?
Somebody got that. I heard that on the Workaholics podcast.
Son of a bitch.
I said the same thing.
Jacking my shit.
Listen, what I said we said it from the jump. We'll steal.
Right, we'll steal from everybody.
We didn't even hear it from them first. So we'll continue to have that in the repertoire.
Because you know what we do.
Shoot the J. Shoot it!
Shoot it! Listen. But
by the way, last week's podcast, I don't know what the fuck happened. Like none of the soundboard shit came through, which pissed me off. I don't know.
Yeah, I heard that.
The podcast version, I don't know what was going on. It was like we were only picking up one channel even. It felt like it was just my channel that was picking up, and then so I think I fixed it.
You know what's even weirder is the Workaholics podcast last week did the same thing.
I wonder if there was a firmware update or something for because Roadcaster, like the Roadcasters we have,
there's the exact same thing.
I wonder if there was a firmware update.
And you heard it too, right?
Yep.
And that's what the dude was saying on the show. He was like, "You're not hearing this? I'm dropping fire." And nobody else.
Which is always how I feel about working the soundboard. Especially last week where, or not last week, it was the week before where I was
think
like...
you should listen to that. They have the best soundboard work I've heard in
I'll see what I can do in terms of stealing some shit.
You should listen to it. Just get an idea because they got all kinds of shit.
All right.
They got the finish him and all that. They got all that shit. Listen.
I need to get that one. And then there's a couple of where I really love with podcasts when they get to it is when they sound clip themselves.
Right.
And they bring back, because that's where you get those Rick James, I never put my feet in Charlie Murphy. Yeah, I put my feet in Charlie Murphy's.
Well, motherfucker, I've been giving you gold for 64 weeks. You hear what I'm saying? You've been getting gold on 2 different podcasts.
And I need to go back and I need to pull some. I agree.
Man, listen. That's what Sir VZ's fuck ass was supposed to be doing, Chuck. He ain't gonna listen.
He ain't listening to shit.
He ain't that much of a fan.
He did send me
I was gonna do it because you paid me, but
you sent me a list, and I will tell you there was at least one instance where I did go back and tried to listen to the clips that he sent, and I'm like, I don't know what he thought was funny here.
Yeah, they were on the you said he was doing it on the YouTube.
Was he doing it on the YouTube and I was doing it on the podcast? Maybe that was it. Yeah.
That's what happened.
I don't know.
I'll still give him his money for that, though. I still haven't paid him, and he ain't asked for it either. But that's how he is. That's how the family is. Like, oh, okay, listen, you ain't gonna give me my money. Either I'm gonna do something about it, or I ain't never gonna accept an offer from you again. And that's probably where he's at. Like, he ain't paid me because you ain't do it right, motherfucker.
Right.
But I still give him his little dollars. That's still my guy.
Uncle Dan finally joined in the chat.
My guy.
He's been blowing us off lately. I think you upset him with your 50-year-old plus ain't done shit.
Oh, get over it, sir. I upset myself on a daily.
He said super family is here finally. Super fan even. Yeah, we love you. We love you.
You know we love you. Love you more than you know.
I will say I love him less now that I'm the one running the show on the D&D.
I said that.
I do enjoy it. I do enjoy it, but man, it's work. Although I will say I have what I thought was going to be 3 sessions planned out. We've made it through the first of those 3. So meaning, like, I thought I had 3 kind of episodes worth of content. That 3 episodes worth of content is going to turn into 6 episodes worth of content. So. Oh,
really? So you overdid it?
Yeah, I overplanned. So
I bet I would be a dog at hosting that.
I mean, you're more than welcome to host a one-shot anytime you want. You just got to learn the rules.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. Let's try that one time. Well, I'm not done being involved with it yet.
No,
but I guarantee you, if I get involved enough to know how to host,
you and I talked about it. I think that we're gonna have you on a guest spot here in a couple of weeks, and it'll be a surprise.
You weren't supposed to say nothing about it.
It's fine, because I'm gonna keep you in the waiting room, so they can know that it's coming. They just don't know when it's coming.
Okay. Yeah, I'm coming, motherfuckers.
I think it would also. You know what else I think would be fun, and we'll have to talk. We'll have to talk to Dan about this, but I would love for Dan to host like a Fools Play D&D. Like podcast, like give us a 2-hour session where it's like me, you, Malcolm, Chris, and maybe one other person, and he runs a game for us, like, and that's what we do for the podcast that week.
And he can't, because I know he don't want to be.
He doesn't want to be on video, but he could just do like an image.
Yeah, that's what I was just about. I was just about to say it, like a yep.
So we'll see.
That would be.
We'll see what he says here. That would
be
the audio
funniest shit. Listen. But you gotta.
What we would have to do is we'd have to do like a character creation session before the show,
right?
And then like intro our characters as the start of the show, and then just run the game for the next hour.
Yeah, I'll recreate my character and all that, but I might have to pick the same guy.
I mean, I've got it saved.
I'm the kind of guy.
I've got Kendrick Jordania.
What was that game you used to play back in the day?
What's that?
That game you used to play back in the day.
I don't know.
Dragon Age.
Oh yeah, Dragon Age. Yeah.
So I'm the kind of guy that will beat the game and pick the exact same player over again and play it. I don't switch from what I like.
Oh, see, what I like to do is I'll play it through the way I would play it through, like the first time. And then I'll be like completely evil the second time playing it through.
I'll always say I'm gonna switch it up this time, but then I'll always be like, nope, that's the way I gotta go. Cause
I hear you. I'm going through that with. I just restarted Skyrim the other day because I downloaded a bunch of mods, and I'm replaying it now, and I'm like, I said I would play this differently, but I know I'm playing it the exact same way.
Right. I tried Skyrim back when I stayed with you. I just don't think I played it long enough. Yeah. I just couldn't get it.
You just have to get... Well, and honestly, it's a little weird to get used to. Like, Skyrim, I honestly... Like, the first time I played it was, like, 2 years after it came out. And I am squarely in the demographic for that game, but, like, I just couldn't get past it at first. And then And then I finally got into it. I'm like, all right, I see what all the hype was about. Like, I agree. I always liked the Mass Effect stuff too, though. Like, and I know you're not big on like the spaceship shit, but that's more in my wheelhouse than the fantasy stuff. Although,
you know what,
D&D has given me a very like, I am definitely leaning more towards kind of like traditional fantasy.
Now, let me tell you something though. I almost meant to tell you this a while ago and I just forgot.
What's
now,
that?
I don't know what switch has flipped in me, but I have been watching all of the superhero movies over.
Oh, have you gotten into the MCU or to the DC side of things?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
A little bit of both. I love how they introduced what's her name? Wonder
Marvel.
Woman.
Oh, Wonder Woman.
In the first DC joint.
The Batman
like how they
Superman.
recognized her from back in the day, like, oh, this bitch been around.
Right.
Like, she's been oh, you know, like that kind of made me feel like, ooh, that's kind of hot. Like,
it's funny you bring that up because do you know about what just released today?
No, I
or yesterday.
Not.
The
hit me, baby, hit me.
So Justice League, while it came out 2 years ago, Zack Snyder just released his cut of the movie. It's a completely different movie. Like I
knew that, but
I was pissed
off. Released the announcement today.
No, it came out today. It came out.
Oh, it came out.
Actually, it came out yesterday.
What, like HBO Max and shit?
Yeah, HBO Max.
Oh, I gotta watch that.
It is a 4-hour fucking movie, but I tell you what, I am 2.5 hours into it. So much better than what was originally released. So much better. And like the storyline, one, the storyline actually makes sense. Two, it's a little darker, but it also like it flows better. And so I have not been a huge fan of the DC movies. Like I liked the first Wonder Woman. I was okay with Batman versus Superman. Justice League was terrible. Aquaman was terrible, even though they both grossed like $1 billion or whatever. Like they weren't good movies. But this version of Justice League, I guess I'm
more of a Marvel guy because I've never watched none of them. And if I'm being 100% honest with myself and the people, I didn't watch all of the first Justice League because I fell asleep in.
No, because it wasn't good. But I will tell you, like this latest.
But I fell asleep towards the end half of it. But I still fell asleep. I didn't watch all of it.
I don't disagree with you. Like I actually fell asleep during it too, and had no interest in going back. What I will say is, I started watching it today. Like this cut of it.
The new.
I didn't want to turn it off. The only reason I turned it off was that my son came in and my wife was like, "Nah, he can't watch this." And I'm like, "All right."
Why not?
Because it gets hyper violent at some points. Like, and I don't disagree with her on that. We're.
Oh, really? It's like that?
Yeah.
Well, now you got me wanting to watch.
Exactly. I figured that would be right up your alley. But that's good. All right, so you've been rewatching shit. What's one that's kind of popped to you then that maybe didn't pop either the first time around or that you ignored and you're like, I wish I had watched this sooner.
What was it? Because I watched it. Remember, I talked to you about the Birds of Prey, liking the Birds of Prey.
Okay.
And that's kind of what struck it, like to make me want to
go back and watch other stuff.
What fucking was it?
So Birds of Prey and Suicide Squad probably, and then what?
Yeah, I loved Suicide Squad when I first watched it. But it was something else. I love the Ben Affleck, Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Not Ben Affleck. Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd.
Ben Affleck's Batman in Justice League.
Right, that's the better Ben Affleck.
Ant-Man's good, man. Ant-Man's funny. Did you watch both or just the first one?
I think I saw the first one before, but I didn't rewatch it.
The first one's good. The second one is it's a little much, but.
Oh, they got two?
Yeah, there's two Ant-Man movies. So there's Ant-Man and then there's Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Well, I haven't. Oh wait, Ant-Man and the Wasp, or Ant-Man 2, and then Ant-Man and the Wasp?
No, so Ant-Man is number 1. Ant-Man and the Wasp is Ant-Man
Okay,
2.
well that's the Wasp. I think I've seen them both, but I
Okay.
don't know about the first one.
The first one is the one where they're
Help
fighting.
me out.
The bald dude is the bad guy. He basically has created his own version of the Ant-Man suit. It ends up like them. The climax of the movie is them fighting in Paul Rudd's daughter's room, and like Thomas the Tank Engine blows up, and there's a big Thomas the Tank Engine. The ant gets blown up and not blown up, but like made bigger. And then Ant-Man and the Wasp is like the woman who can like walk through walls, who phase shifts, and that one finishes, I think, with like a big like car chase and then giant Ant-Man at the end of the movie. So I don't know which one you saw, but
I saw the second one for sure.
Okay.
That first one, maybe I thought I saw it. But
the first one's a smaller scale. T.I. and company play a little bit bigger role in that one than they do in the second one.
You said T.I.
Oh yeah, T.I.'s in both of them.
Like the rapper T.I.?
Yes. He's in both of them. Although he has a bigger role, I think, in the first one.
Have I seen either of these? I know I see.
I'm a king.
I know I've seen the second one.
You can have whatever you like.
Listen. Man. But I had something to say.
What I have not seen yet is that Falcon and Winter Soldier that just came out today on Disney Plus. So
now I always said that I like the Winter Soldier. I don't know about that Falcon now.
Anthony Mackie.
Now I like him. I don't mind him. I just don't like flying shit.
Yeah, but it's not like he's. What I like about it is that it's not like the Superman Wonder Woman kind of flying. Like he literally has like almost a jetpack kind of thing on. Like it's technologically enabled.
Right. I'm just hard on superhero shit.
I know you are. But you're the one that brought it up in terms of.
I know I have been loosening up. I wish I could remember the fucking movie I watched.
Was it one of the Avenger movies?
No, because I've already seen them. Yeah, I've already seen them, and I can remember them. It was something that I couldn't remember.
One of the Thor or Doctor Strange?
I watched Doctor Strange. I've never seen.
Okay.
I've tried to watch that.
Yeah, I figured that one would be too trippy for you. Like that's a little too much like mystic and magic and.
And you know, I try to keep up with the weird shit, but I just couldn't keep up.
But you're
with
bigger
that.
on like the reality based shit. Like, was it one of the Captain America movies? Like Winter Soldier and Civil War are both pretty grounded.
Yeah, I saw Winter Soldier. That's the one where they had that fight on the race car track, didn't they?
No, that's Iron Man 2.
Is it?
Yeah. Winter Soldier is like kind of a spy thriller where he basically finds out that that's the one where you find out that S.H.I.E.L.D.'s been infiltrated by Hydra. And it's very like Nick Fury gets shot in the first 20 minutes of the movie, and then he comes
Nick
back.
Fury
at the end.
Samuel L. Jackson?
Yeah.
I don't know what I watched.
Obviously, it made an impression on you.
Listen, I don't know what I'll be watching, but yeah, I'll watch another one. I'll watch another superhero movie. I'm kind of what was the one you said was 4 hours? The Justice League?
Justice League, the Zack Snyder cut. The Snyder cut is how it's referred to.
Yeah, I don't know when I have enough time to do that.
Dude, like I said, I am 2 hours into it, and versus the original cut of the movie, we haven't gotten to anything from the original movie. So,
man, what are they thinking?
I mean, honestly, like Justice League got shat on so much by fans and critics. Like, they were like, well, maybe this is a way to revive what we were doing.
But I heard my nigga back.
Who's that?
Jared Leto.
Oh, I haven't seen Jared Leto.
He ain't been in it. The Gold Girl Joker.
I understand what you're saying. Like, he was Joker in Birds of Prey or in Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
And he might be in Justice League. He hasn't popped up yet. And like I said, I'm only 2 hours in. I got another 2 hours to go.
They said he was.
And if he popped up, I was asleep. Like, I did doze off for like 5-10 minutes.
They said that Jared Leto gave them enough film for him to do his own movie, and they.
I'm sure that dude is a fucking weird dude, man.
I liked him as that Joker.
Did you? Oh,
yeah, I did.
I don't know. And part of it is, I don't know, man. Like the Batman Begins trilogy with like Heath Ledger as Joker.
No, I liked Heath, but I didn't think that he was the best either.
Well, and I think what I liked about Heath Ledger's Joker that it was just so different. And I agree, Jared Leto's Joker was very different too. That didn't resonate with me as much. Like, that was very much kind of like a punk rock Joker, and that's not my style.
See, I got a different vibe from it, I guess.
Well, you talk about that because I'm gonna go pee.
Okay. I don't know if I can.
And don't make this a depressing conversation while I'm gone.
All right, let me do my best to do so, and then that'll probably steer me in the opposite direction. So, how do y'all feel about slides? Yep. Slip and slides. Regular sliding boards. That's a good term. Do y'all remember sliding boards that were so hot that your legs would be pink when you got to the bottom? Yep. No 100-degree days with sliding boards. Yeah, I hope Mike's toilet doesn't turn into a sliding board. Never know what he's in there doing. I just hope he's standing up and he's not sitting down. What were we talking about before he left? Because I'm over that superhero shit. Even though I will watch Justice League. Not for 4 hours. Not for 4 hours, though. That's all I know. But, Michael, tell me some superhero shit. And at the bottom was a bit of sharp wooden rod. Luke is stupid as shit. Oh, shit.
What are you shitting?
That just made my day.
What happened?
Oh, I was dying out here and Luke just made my day. That's what happened. Listen back. Motherfucker, you.
All right, fine.
Oh, that was funny. Oh, help me.
Now I'm mad.
What were we talking about? Right. Now you're going to have to listen back.
All right. Well, this is the 139 mark. All right.
Oh, don't try to. You a cheater.
What do you mean I'm a cheater?
you try to check the mark.
Absolutely. I'm not going to listen back to the whole fucking thing. Come on now. But I'll do enough to get us the count on the download.
I listen to every. I don't watch the YouTube, but I listen to every podcast.
I mean, I will tell you, I was a lot better about it until like the last 4 or 5 weeks. Recently, with everybody being home, it's just been hard to listen to shit.
Listen, I know where your office is. That's why I said that.
Right. So,
but
but now that everybody's going back full time next week, then I'll have more free time and I can just have the shit running while I'm doing stuff. Whereas right now, that's not as feasible.
Yeah,
So we were talking about superhero movies and Jared Leto when I left, but I don't know that that's something that we have to go back to. So
no.
What else you got on your mind?
Fuck Jared Gelato. No, I'm just playing. Shouts to Jared Gelato.
Jared Leto.
Yeah. Jared Letato. What did you ask me? What do we?
I said, what else? About? What else we got? What else you want to talk about?
I would like to talk about.
Cliff is in rare form tonight, by the way, ladies and gentlemen.
I would like to talk about. What's your favorite road trip movie?
Road trip movie.
Yep. Favorite road trip movie, and I don't know my answer right now.
Is it cheating if I just say road trip? Like,
you know what? That's not a bad one, but you know what? Because that's where my mind went to. But I was like, I can think of a better one than that.
Well, and I'm sure I can think of a better one.
I can think my favorite one of all time.
Do you want to jump to that, or you want me to talk through why I like the movie Road Trip?
No, you do it.
So and I can't remember what her name is. That's not Amy Smart, is it?
No, it's the girl from. Wait, it's not the girl from American Pie, Tara Reid.
No, it's not Tara Reid. It's I think it's actually Amy Smart, but Road Trip.
I don't even know who Amy Smart is.
Well, but she was in a bunch of movies just like that. Like, she's in the movie with Ryan Reynolds, who I know you love, Just Friends.
Van Wilder.
Is she? She might. Well, Tara Reid's in Van Wilder, but I think Amy Smart might be in that too. She's in a bunch of those, or she's in The Butterfly Effect.
I love Just Friends. I just can't see her face. She's in The Butterfly Effect.
Same girl.
She's faceless in my faceless.
That movie's called Road Trip, right?
Why is I think you're right. Where the girl, where he slept with the girl and recorded it and sent his girlfriend home.
Oh, I was doing it as a single.
And
word.
Tom Green was in it.
Yes, Tom Green's in it, who I'm not a big fan of. Yeah, it's Amy Smart.
Let me look her up because I can't even picture.
And she was in a bunch of those kind of movies. She was in Butterfly Effect. She's in Just Friends, Roadmap. Maybe that's all she was really in. She's shown up in a couple of other things too, but one, I like her, so that's part of the reason. But I love the story of, like, he accidentally sent her the video. Like, it almost didn't make sense in the 2000s.
She is a prettier not Lisa Marie Presley. What's the chick's name from My Name is Earl?
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
That's exactly who that is, though.
But fine.
No, I mean from Road Trip. That's exactly.
No, I know what you mean. So, like, one, the premise of the movie is funny. Two, the dude who just, like, smokes weed and, like, talks about, like, philosophical shit. I love that character. I love the Stifler character, although that's actually probably less obnoxious than Stifler is in anything. There's another anal joke in that movie, so I want to make sure I don't trigger you, Cliff. In Road Trip, doesn't he get fingered in order to give a sperm sample? he asked for help to give a sperm sample for them to get money.
No, wait, is that
Road Trip or am I flipping? I'm pretty sure that's Road Trip.
I think that is right.
So that happens in that movie, and then on top of that, like on their way back when they're studying for the exam or whatever, he's basically like comparing whatever the subject is to like WWF. He's talking about, you like professional wrestling, right? He's like, well, so and so was the Vince McMahon of philosophy. I think it was philosophy because I think it was like Socrates was the Vince McMahon of philosophy. Like it just has such and again, like Tom Green feeding the snake. Like I'm not a big Tom Green fan, but that shit was funny. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Road Trip. So what was your road trip movie? Actually, my other favorite road trip movie is the Lord of the Rings trilogy because they take the road trip to Mount Doom to put the ring in the mountain.
And I shitted on this wall.
I was only kidding.
Nah, my favorite road trip movie is The Rocker.
The Rocker?
By far. By Biggity. What's the name of the dude that plays Dwight in The Office? Damn, I can't think of his name. Because he's a sidekick. But
Rainn
that
Wilson?
movie... What's his name?
Rainn Wilson.
Yep, that's exactly what it is.
And it's got Christina Applegate in it. All right.
Man, listen.
And Emma Stone? I have not seen this movie.
Oh, it's my favorite movie of all time.
Oh, I'm going to have to check this out. Is it
Listen. What?
Okay, it's streaming on... Well, no, you can rent it from Prime. All right.
Listen, I got it on DVD. I don't know. But that's one of my... Whenever I'm feeling low and want to laugh, that's the movie I cut on.
I hear you.
But,
Uncle Dan chiming in with Pineapple Express.
Yeah, I guess that
is that
qualifies.
A road trip? Is that a road
yes,
trip movie?
Yes.
I don't know. So
I
I have a confession. I don't know that I've ever watched Pineapple Express from start to finish.
Oh my fucking God. This podcast is over. I need a new how the fuck. No, I will not do another podcast with you until you watch Pineapple. That is.
I will do what I can. I mean, I've seen most of it, but every time I've ever put it on, I was either drunk or high to begin with and didn't make it through.
Man, I can't believe that. Pineapple Express does qualify, and that is a great one. But The Rocker.
Okay.
The Rocker is about...
So if I have to watch one between now and next week, which one am I watching? The Rocker or Pineapple Express?
What? I feel like everybody in the world would kill me if I didn't say Pineapple Express. But I also would say do not watch Pineapple Express unless
I've got a little something to partake on.
Right.
Fair
Otherwise,
enough.
I would say watch The Rocker because
I really need to find some vapable stuff, by the way. Maybe you and I can talk after the show.
I'm not saying I know.
I mean, I'm sure you don't know. I don't know why I would think you would know,
but my mind is not a cabinet.
Is it a database?
Galaxy.
It's a galaxy relationship diagram.
Galaxy equation. You know? But yeah, check that Rocker out. That's gonna be something you're definitely gonna like.
Well, I'm gonna have to. I'll pitch both to the wife and see which ones come up.
You can watch that with Andrew.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's no innuendos. You know what I mean? Like there's no like it's a point where like he's like drumming naked on the drums, but you don't see anything. He's just a dude.
Silly.
You know what I mean? So it's right.
Okay. All right. Well, and we watched a movie last night that I think gives me the leeway to ask that we watch something different this week.
Yeah, I bet everybody would like it.
We watched. Have you? You and I used to talk Netflix movies. Yeah. Have you watched? What is it? Moxie, Amy Poehler's latest joint on Netflix.
What's that about?
Girl power.
Well, what's that about? What way? Explain.
So, to explain, it's basically a group of girls at this high school basically decide to take a stand against misogyny.
I saw the
you saw the preview for it.
I did I was interested in that.
I mean, it was okay. It was fine. They had a couple of funny points.
That's why I didn't watch it.
They actually, and that's my way. That's how I feel about most.
I'm still gonna check it out, but
exactly. But like,
I didn't.
I think about it the same way I feel about most Netflix comedies. Like, yes, every once in a while Netflix will hit gold with comedy, but for the most part, it's like very mediocre. Like, I would compare this to what was it? Wine Country, with like Tina Fey and Amy Poehler, and like Melissa McCarthy and all them. Like, it was the bridesmaid cast basically, but it was like them celebrating their 40th or their 50th birthday or some shit.
No, I never saw that.
And it's okay. I mean, it's okay. Like, it has a couple of moments, but it's not laugh out loud funny the way Bridesmaids is, or Mean Girls, or whatever else Tina Fey and Amy Poehler have done together. Like Sisters is funnier than that movie.
I love Tina Fey.
I do too. I love the two of those. I love the two of them together. That movie, the Netflix movie, was just kind of a miss. Like, it's funny, but it's not like laugh out loud funny. Like, it has moments, but
I would wife Tina Fey.
Oh, no doubt. Fools agree.
I would wife Tina Fey now. Don't play with me.
Nailing Palin? Absolutely.
Stop playing with me.
I wife Amy Poehler too. Fuck it.
I don't know who that. Oh, that.
The blonde. The other one. Leslie Knope from.
The one that sings all the time. Was she in 30 Rock?
Yes.
The one that sings all the time.
I don't know if she sings. Wait, no. Tina Fey was the one in 30 Rock, wasn't she?
Yeah, but. What? I don't know. You're answering questions. I'm just. I don't know.
I don't know that Amy Poehler. Amy Poehler was not in 30 Rock. Amy Poehler is the blonde from SNL that was on at the same time as Tina Fey. Like, they do Weekend Update together.
Poehler.
She's the cool mom on Mean Girls. She was in it's not Parks and Rec, is it? Yeah, it's Parks and Rec.
Yeah, I'm a Tina Fey only kind of guy.
And I would lean towards Tina Fey as well, but they're both funny. And maybe honestly, when they do shit together, they're usually pretty funny together. But Wine Country just didn't hit.
Do I have a problem with it? Do I have a problem with blondes?
Maybe that's it. I mean, my wife excluded. I lean towards brunettes as well. But
I think that may be what it is, because I even like her with the red hair.
Oh, yeah?
Yep. Yeah, no. I think it's a blonde hair thing.
I was also told to stop the show and go watch Pineapple Express by Uncle Dan, so throwing that
well, Uncle Dan is prepared.
He's constantly prepared.
Right. I don't think you're prepared.
I'm never prepared. No Boy Scout here.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, man.
You gotta be prepared for something like that.
You know?
In my opinion. Otherwise, you're probably just gonna be thinking it's foolish. It is foolish regardless, but it's Seth Rogen. If you've never seen Pineapple Express...
Again, I've seen most of it. I just don't know that I've actually sat down and watched it, like, start to finish.
I can name 3 times you're going to piss your pants.
I'm listening. Or tell me next week. Actually, you know what? Let's make it a game. I'll come back next week and try to guess the 3 parts that you're talking about.
There it is.
Do fools agree? Talk Pineapple Express.
And it's the 19th. What's the next date?
That would be the 26th.
20. Yeah. That's exactly right. Okay.
Which is the week before everybody else is off for spring break, which will make work crazy the following week. So that'll be a good week to just chill and have a good time.
Is that after your appointment?
What appointment? What are you talking about?
Your second vaccine appointment?
Oh, I got my second vaccine last week.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought that was next week.
So my arm hasn't fallen off yet, so that's good.
Okay.
So for those of you out there that are considering getting vaccinated, one, I recommend it. I know Cliff has mixed feelings on it. The second shot, the first shot I had no problems with. I had a little bit of a sore arm for a couple hours afterwards, but that was it. The second shot didn't put me out the way it put my wife out, so I had the Moderna. My wife had the Pfizer. I just felt off. I felt off and it wasn't even that night because we did our show Friday night last week. And I felt fine immediately after the shot, like later
you
that
didn't tell
afternoon.
me, zombie.
Right. And then Saturday I felt a little rough. But it wasn't anything bad, I just felt off.
You didn't eat any animals, did you?
No.
Okay.
I mean, other than the raw flesh, right?
Right, unless you woke up with blood on your face. Matter of fact, speaking of eating animals, I don't represent or condone any harm to animals, but shout to the dude that bit the dog.
Wait, what?
You see that? It was on World Star. First of all, it was another one of those videos that showed you white folks don't get smoked by police like that.
Oh no.
Because dude pulled a gun out and everything, and they wrestled him down and let the dog bite him. But dude had a gun in his pocket. This might be the only time I would condone pulling a gun out on the police, because he was down, he was on the ground. Now he wasn't putting his hands behind the back, but the dog was biting him, right? So the dog's biting him and he's screaming, "Can you please get the dog off me? Please get the dog off me." And the cop keeps saying, "If you put your hands behind your back, I'll get the dog off of you." But the dog's biting him
biting his shoulder. All right.
So why your natural reaction would not be to put your hands behind your
back? Let him keep biting your shoulder.
Right. So he's fighting the dog. So what happens is he grabs the dog's collar and gets his finger caught in the collar. So now the dog's pulling back and his fingers caught like this. So the cops now looking at him like he's doing something to the dog and getting more aggressive with him.
Yeah.
Now he's like, "Officer, I can't breathe. I can't do anything." So he's like, "Can you please get the dog off me?" He won't get the dog off him. The dog bites down on his shoulder and he gets a hold of his ear and bites the shit out of his dog.
The dog's ear.
The dog was like, and I said, he got to fuck that dog up off him, didn't he? He got that dog up off him.
Well, they tell you that if your dog is getting a little too nippy, the best thing you can do is bite him back.
Listen, that dog was not fucking around after he bit that, and he wasn't biting that ear like a plate. He was biting that ear like he could have got a chunk off in his mouth. Yeah. I said, shouts to him, because it's not his fault. It's the owner. Get that dog up off him. You had him subdued, and you wanted to be a dickhead. So that's your fault that dog got bit. I'd have bit that dog too. The fuck? Shouts to him.
Goodness gracious. All right, sir. Well, we are at about 2 hours. You got anything else you want to talk through, or you want to go ahead and wrap it up?
What I would like to say is be careful of slides. Be careful of slides. Slipping slides, especially metal slides. Watch out for the slides with the hump. If the slope is at a
meanwhile, you're talking about that, and I'm thinking you're talking about like slide-on shoes.
Be careful of those two. Don't run in them. Definitely don't play basketball in them because you might get crossed up. And there's nothing worse than your slide wrapping around an ankle. And you're just standing there with a sock with a slide around your ankle like a fucking home monitor bracelet. But the slides is what I want everyone to focus on. Don't put your kids on hot slides.
Don't do that, no.
Cold slides.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Oh shit. Here we go again.
Love everybody, motherfuckers.
Love everybody. Hey, do us a favor, like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Do us a favor, if you really like us, listen to us on Apple Podcast and rate and comment there. That helps kind of move things up the charts. I will say Cliff Show over on Hit the Showers is doing great. They started off hot. It's trailed off a little bit, but still doing pretty strong. And we will have new episodes of Mind and Body Understanding coming up here in the next week or two. So all you can do is check out Apple Podcasts, search for Foolproof Entertainment Network. You can find all 3 shows, like, subscribe, support us that way. And soon enough, we may be talking about a little bit of a Patreon action. And then if you're interested in shirts, give us a call. Hit us up at foolproofentertainment@gmail.com.
Before, though, see, the problem is we're trying to funnel everything to mind and body. That my goal is to fuck you up, fuck your minds up as much as possible. That you say, oh,
and then we send you the Mind and Body Understanding by Jeff.
Then Jeff Pharion, Dr. Jeff Pharion hops on and relieves your minds. And then when you realize that bet wasn't so bad and you want to gamble again, like we know you will, tune in to Hit the Showers. We might got some
it might have some advice for you.
But
it is a cycle. It's a cycle. Love everybody.
Right. And love yourself.
With all that, peace out, fools.
Galaxies, not file cabinets.